A Series X costs $800. No fancy intro, no nothing today. That's just what's happening. As of August 1st, this console back here, let me move my chair a little bit. Hold on, let me see. Let me try and get the angle. That thing right there that I bought for $500 back in 2021, as of August 1st, will cost $800. Let me break it down for you guys. In this post, Xbox details a number of price increases hitting their hardware lineup. 512 gigabyte consoles are now $100 more. Any console with 1 terabyte of storage now costs $150 more. And don't even ask about the 2 terabyte Xboxes because those are getting sunsetted completely. That means a base Series S costs $500. It's still the cheapest, but $200 more than when it launched. A digital Series X costs $750. And if you want a disc with that Series X, you're going to have to pay $800 once again. I'm feeling really weird about this because we expected this, so it's not entirely surprising. They've been prepping us for this exact situation, but I still can't help but feel a little bit shocked. I just could not imagine we would get to this point when I bought my Series X, when I started this channel, that we'd be staring down the barrel at $800 consoles. The same consoles, not even a mid-gen refresh. It's the same Series X as it was when it first came out, just more expensive. But this is not just an Xbox problem. This is an everyone problem. Everyone in tech. But you gotta admit, this sucks for Xbox. I mean, they're in the middle of a PR disaster right now because of the layoffs and studio closures that could happen any day now. And yet another price increase, especially one so steep, I mean, it goes against a lot of the goals that they had set up for themselves. Remember Ash's first interview that she did after she signed on as CEO? She wanted to stabilize Gen 9. But if there was any hope of stabilizing the console sales of Gen 9, that all kind of goes out the window now. We also know that they're pivoting back to exclusives per the words of Matt Booty that he's telling us in this interview. He wants to give people a reason to buy an Xbox.
We want there to be a reason to be an Xbox fan. We want there to be a reason to buy an Xbox.
And while we got 2 reasons to buy an Xbox after the showcase, Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution, we got 100 to 150 more reasons not to buy one if you don't already have it. Maybe I'm overthinking this because if you are an Xbox fan, if you wanted one of these consoles, a Series S or an X, you probably already bought it. And we are heading towards the end of this generation. Here to help me work through these feelings is my buddy Jimmy Champagne. You might recognize him from Deck Ready. So Jim, on your channel, you've been dealing with a lot of the same narratives like, oh, AI driving the prices of our consoles up. What are your thoughts on yet another price increase? How does it relate to what you've been talking about on Deck Ready? And what does it mean for the future, like for Project Helix?
Yeah, the entire situation sucks. As we said the first time Sony raised the price, as we said the first time Xbox raised the price, as we said when they announced the Steam Machine price, as we said when they raised the Steam Deck's price. I think you nailed it though. With all of these devices, I mean, how many times have we gotten on camera over the past, 5 years and said, hey guys, it looks like prices are going up. If you're holding out for these things to be half price halfway through the generation, I would jump on it sooner rather than later, because if you want to pay the best price possible, you're only going to get it right now. Of course, there are sales, there are discounts randomly throughout the year, but we've only seen those bring these things back down close to what they originally launched at. So when it comes to that, I feel okay knowing that the hardcore fans got their good price and now they have an appreciating asset. But if you want to worry about, the ecosystem growing and making sure you can save this generation, you put it perfectly. It's an uphill battle. There's no way around it. But yeah, it seems like going into next generation, the baseline price is $1,000, because even though Valve has a tougher time getting RAM than all these other people, it's not like they're going to be able to get it hundreds of dollars cheaper. They might save, like 5% at max compared to what Valve is paying for RAM. So if you want to stay a console gamer, I guess it seems like we've got to get used to $1,000 prices, which is going to make growth hard. But the silver lining is I foresee the Xbox Series X, the PS5, and the Steam Machine's base level target being the base level target for a lot longer than Sony, Microsoft, Valve, and even Nintendo initially planned, because the target is shifting for developers from new customers and the whales to people who are hanging on to what they already have, because that's going to be the biggest user base. So there is some good coming of it, kind of. It would be nice if even when we were getting new hardware, they could target the people who already have the console instead of the people who can pay $3,000 for a GPU. But
oh, for sure. Like the Series X, the Series S, the PlayStation 5, those are going to be supported for, I mean, I would say indefinitely at this point. Like there's really no end because it's a hard upgrade path, especially if you bought in at the dirt cheapest price into the Xbox ecosystem at $300 with that Series S a couple of years back. I find it very hard to believe that person is gonna suddenly want to pay $1,200 for Project Helix or whatever it's gonna be priced at. Is this disaster territory for the price of the PlayStation 6 or Project Helix?
so I have a little bit of it's not a different perspective, but I've been trained to pay more because I mostly, play on PC. So I've paid more than $1,000 for every PC I've ever built. So I've never been happy about it, but you realize very quickly that when it comes to anything, whether it's a console or a PC, you really get what you pay for. So with consoles, you get kind of a happy middle ground, right? Like you get upscaled from 720 or 1080 to 4K. You get the performance mode that runs between 40 and 60 FPS within the VRR window. There are major compromises you have to make. So it's a little different for me because I mainly play on PC and I've never bought a PC for less than $1,000, which I've never been happy about. But there's trade-offs with everything. You get what you pay for. And that is definitely becoming less true with consoles, man. Like, you could suffer through not hitting an actual perfect 60 FPS. You could suffer through upscaling from 720p or 1080 to 4K to fill out the screen of your TV because the benefit of that was that you were only paying $500 for a console. But now when you're approaching the entry-level cost for a PC, which has just been set by Valve, you start looking at other options. Like, can I build my own AMD PC? Can I build a PC or buy a pre-build for just a few hundred more dollars and start investing in a Steam library? So I think this really helps PC in a really weird and morbid way, and it makes consoles less and less relevant. So we don't know what they're going to do, right? Like every sign is pointing to Xbox releasing an extremely expensive PC within the next couple of years. So hopefully they rethink that and continue investing in the console ecosystem, which they've been doing fine in, not great, but fine. Feels weird to abandon that when prices are going through the roof, but it's not like Sony's in a much better spot. I'd imagine that the PS5 is going to get a big price increase soon. The PS5 Pro is going to get a bigger one. There will be less PS5 Pros on shelves leading into GTA 6. Like, it's not good for anyone. That's the real point here. So is it a disaster for us? Not really. We already have the consoles, right? Like we have a Series X, we have a PS5. For someone who was in a coma until 2026 and knows that GTA 6 is finally coming out because they went into that coma in 2013, they might want to go back into the coma, man. They'll be like, I'm going to give it another 10 years. Put me back to sleep.
People are like, we don't know when the shortage is going to let up. So much RAM being produced by Samsung, and then who's the manufacturer?
Hynix.
Hynix, yeah. Like all of that is just going, like 60% of that is going to AI data centers, but they're super center Walmart style sized. And like we're just kind of having to fight over scraps. Valve, PlayStation, Microsoft, and the frustration is that Valve, you can kind of like it sucks that they had to price the Steam machine the way that they did. It sucks that they had to raise the price of the Steam Deck, but it's Sony and Microsoft contributing to this problem by building out their own AI initiatives and data centers and all that. Like their parent companies are directly contributing it. So that's what is shitty about the whole situation, because we just want to play games. We don't give a damn about Grok and all that other stuff. So we're dealing with the blowback and we don't know when it's going to let up. Here are some other things that they talked about in this post announcing the price increase, Jim. They took the opportunity to say that they're launching a couple of new programs. Buy now, pay later. We've made it easier for players to use buy now, pay later options on eligible Xbox hardware purchases. Number 2, interest-free financing. Players purchasing eligible Xbox hardware through Amazon can take advantage of 0% APR financing for up to 12 months, giving players more flexibility with lower monthly payments and more budgeting control. Previously played consoles, we are working with retail partners on new programs to provide previously played consoles at lower prices Players who are ready to upgrade or no longer use their console will be able to trade it in with participating retailers for cash or stored credit. Those consoles will be made available at lower prices for consoles. And then, of course, they have certified refurbished consoles. That's always been a thing, but they're reminding people that it's a thing, and they're available at Microsoft stores for up to $100 off MSRP. Kind of sounds crazy, taking out a loan or setting up a payment plan for a Series X.
Yeah, interest free is the only one I would do, honestly, if any.
But at the same time, like, these are the times, and I guess, like, to their credit, they're trying to give people options if they want to buy a console, if they just woke up from that coma and want to play GTA 6.
There's going to be like repo TikToks for consoles. Like the repo men are going to be breaking into people's houses to recover their Xbox Series X they defaulted on.
I mean, again, not surprising if you've been keeping up with the news cycle. Still pretty shocking nonetheless. Like Jimmy said, you can only say it sucks so many times. How many videos have we done about this across all of our channels, whether it's PS Ready, Xbox Ready, or Deck Ready? So Jim, one more thing before we go. Now that the Steam machine, early reviews are out, the price is out, everyone's talking about it. Do you think once Project Helix rolls around, is that something like, is the world ready for a Project Helix? Like, does the world want a Project Helix based off of the reaction to the Steam machine?
So I've heard the statement, "Who is this for?" so many times over the past 6 months, when there is clearly an audience of people who are interested in the lower spec but all around good machine that the Steam Deck and now the Steam machine are. And now I get to say it. Who is the Helix for? It's going to be exorbitantly expensive. The whole idea of PC is not having it locked down, and they're going to try to figure out some way to make a little bit of a closed garden around it to make it feel like a console. And if the Steam machine, which is basically on par with the Series X and PS5, is $1,050, I have no idea what the Xbox Helix is going to be, because I actually have the same PC that they're using. Because I actually have the same PC. It's like a 9800X3D, 9070 XT. I got it before the RAM crisis, and it came out to like $1,700. So like, the argument that they're going to subsidize it, it's like, yeah, they might subsidize it down to $1,000. So I don't know, man. I really think they need to make a console. I just really think they need to try to get something that's closed, has an ecosystem, has Game Pass or Xbox Live, whatever you want to call it, and is subsidized from $1,000 down, not from $1,500 to $1,000. Because if you just throw a PC out there, you're not just competing with Sony, Valve, Nintendo, and everyone else. You're competing with Asus, you're competing with Lenovo, you're competing with every other person who makes a PC and company who makes a PC. And that is a really tough battle, because you're going into it with, let's be honest, not great reputation when it comes to Xbox and how they've been handling things the past gen. So they're already starting at a disadvantage. And Windows, the operating system it's going to run on, has by far the worst possible reputation in the entire Microsoft brand. Like, people get mad at Xbox, but they generally like Xbox. I love Xbox. People fucking hate Windows, and with good reason. So that's going to be tough. I think they need to make a console. I've said it a million times. They threw the Xbox 360 together in less than a year. They can do it again.
It's going to be tough. I mean, there's no sugarcoating that. I think people would have bought $1,000 Project Helix, especially if it was going to give them access to all of their digital Xbox games. It was fully backwards compatible, and then some with these other storefronts on it. But like you're saying, with the Steam machine being $1,000 baseline, and it is just on par with like a base PS5 or something in between a Series X and S, yeah, you have to imagine that the price for Helix is at least $500 more. Maybe they want to subsidize it. I don't know how that would work, especially in this world where we're seeing an $800 Series X, especially in this world where Asha is like, yes, prices went up by nearly 2 times as much compared to this point last year, and they're going to go up, and they're going to go up again. They're going to go up again holiday 2027 or fall 2027, which should be around the time when Project Helix would have launched.
Dude, whatever Xbox's plan is for next gen, they have to eliminate just-in-time component sourcing. So the way Sony handles buying RAM is they say, okay, we foresee that we're going to sell this many PS5s over the next 1 year cycle. So then they go to the RAM companies and they say, we need this much RAM. The way Microsoft does it is called just in time, where they literally look at how many Xboxes are in their warehouse or on store shelves. And when they start to get a little low, a little ping goes off, and then they go, okay, time to go make more Xboxes. So they don't think ahead with their purchasing of these components, which is why they're in a worse position than where Sony is. Not that Sony's in a good position, they're just in a worse position. So I think they probably learned their lesson there. It has worked for them in the past, but it's not effective anymore to just make the consoles when you need them, as we've seen this gen, when at the start, even when, you know, the components were easier to get at decent prices, Xbox was always lagging behind in terms of even getting their consoles on store shelves. So I think that's critical for them to fix for the next generation.
Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff we got to talk about today. Didn't do a shout out at the top of this video because I wanted to get right into it. But if you made it this far into the video, you might as well subscribe. No matter what happens in the world of Xbox, good or bad, like another price increase, I will be talking about it here on the channel with Jimmy Champagne. And I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed and joined us for the ride. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one.